What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be ranking the best small forwards in NBA 2K21 MyTEAM. So lads, there are a lot less good small forwards than other positions, as we all know, but there are more good small forwards now than ever before. So we got, I think, 45 players here, whereas in like my other tier list, there was like 20, and pretty sure 2 months ago we had Ruby Andrew Wiggins in one of our tier lists, which was not ideal. Really was not ideal, to be completely honest. So, lads, we have got the small forward tier list. So we're going to start off with Alex English. Alex English he's alright. Does he on B or C? I'm going to put him in C. He's got mellow base, which again is okay on next gen. Not great on current gen, but he plays the 2, which does help. He has that on very quick. He's a pretty good shooter. He moves relatively well. Defense is pretty good. He's fine. He's fine. This Wiggins. I think C tier, probably. Yeah, I think C tier is fine for this Wiggins. He was good for his time. He was really good for his time. That's all I'm going to say. He was solid. Like, if we're talking about guys that were great when they came out, Wiggins is one of those. He was the best small forward in the game when he came out. But, I mean, I don't personally believe that he can be high anymore. I don't think you can really put him high at all anymore compared to some of the other guys that we have. So, C tier. This Wiggins, A. I definitely don't think S tier, but I do think he belongs in A. A better shooter, better at everything. And he is a bit of a step up. And that release on very quick is good. Edwards, C. See, I think Edwards at C tier is good. Again, just a good all-around card. A little bit undersized. He kind of reminds me of RJ Hampton. And that's probably the closest comparison in terms of like his release. They both have base 80. They both have similar type player builds. I think him and RJ Hampton are probably the closest comparisons. And I do like RJ Hampton, but C tier I think is fair for him. Okay, Bailey Howell. I know most people probably put Bailey Howell B tier. I'm putting Bailey Howell A tier. I really like Trey Burke base. Is he better than the new DeMar DeRozan? No. But then again, that new DeMar DeRozan is a 2 guard, which is a much better position. So for me, A tier is fair for him. But at the end of the day, he might go down to B tier when it's all said and done. Okay, now we're on to Cam Reddish. Does he? I'm going to put him in A for now, but Cam might get moved up. Cam is really good. And you know what? 2K were right. 2K were right. Did any of you guys see this? Yes? Did any of you guys see this? Any of you guys see this this yesterday from the Hawks coach? Did any of you guys see this? Because we all know that Cam Reddish has been a clone of Paul George ever since he was brought into 2K. But even the Hawks head coach sees a lot of Paul George and Cam Reddish. I mean, 2K see in the future by making Cam Reddish a PG clone. And we got this Melo right here. I'm not going to put him worthless, but I'm going to put him D. He does kind of suck. Yeah, he does really suck. This Melo, B-A, B-A, B-A. I'm going to go A, but if you want to put him in B, I'm not going to hold it against you. He's definitely not S. But this is easily one of the best Melo cards we've seen. It's the best Melo this year. Obviously, it's a freaking invincible. Detlef Schrempf. Schrempf is in the middle. Schrempf is in the middle. I like his release. His speed is a little bit low, especially for current gen. His handling is good, though. They took away his blinders, I'm pretty sure. And still got pretty good height. So, we are going to go put him into B tier. Dougie McBuckets. I mean, I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's bad. Like, I haven't used him, but I shot around with base 69. It was a really good release. And just looking at his attributes, he should still be good. No steady. He's 6'8". I think that almost certainly B is the right spot for him. Again, just you can tell by looking at the attributes and stats that like he's not a bad card, but I don't think he's A tier. Elgin. Elgin's a little small, but I'm gonna put Elgin in A tier. I still think Elgin can have that like Luka type effect on next gen, especially. Current gen, I mean Elgin's okay, but I mean next gen especially, he can have that Luka. He can play that Luka role. George Gervin. Do I have too many guys in A tier? Move you down. Gonna move you down. I'm gonna move Gervin into A. I'm gonna move Melo down. You guys might be killing me. Okay, so we're 6 minutes in. I'm gonna actually get my worthless players done with first. So in worthless tier, I'm gonna first of all put Hito. Like, what have you done, 2K? What have you done? He was one of the greatest. And if the retro set didn't even exist, I wouldn't even mind this card. Like, I would not mind if Hito was just bad in this game. But the blasphemy to give us an Amethyst Hito Turkoglu card and make him suck. That's the big thing. He's terrible. The blasphemy. And the blasphemy to make Retro 3 the final retro set of the year. What were you thinking, 2K? We had 3 idols between... We've had 3 Fried Idols, have we? Or was it 2 Fried Idols? Either way, we had 2 idols in Season 6. We haven't had one since Season 5. No, we've had 3 idols. We've had KG. We've had 3 Friday idols since the last retro. Oh, it's just been disappointing. I have to assume fan favorites is probably coming this Friday, but you just never know. Can we get Gerald Wallace? B. Base 4. It's pretty good. His defense is good. There's like nothing between these 2 tiers. Hey, who else is going into worthless? I mean, Otto Porter kind of sucks. Yeah, Otto Porter really sucks. Hill's going to go into D tier. I don't rate that Grant Hill very highly. I think D tier is probably the safest place for him. I think putting him any higher than D tier would kind of just be overkill, to be honest. It would be gassing it, but... I mean... I think that's probably a fair tier. So, next we've got Gerald Wilkins. Gerald Wilkins is good on next gen. He's not up to much on current gen, though. He's got a long wingspan. He's 6'6". I'm going to put Gerald Wilkins in C tier, but if you want to move him to B tier, that's fine. He's like between these 2 tiers, honestly. Like, the gap between these guys and then D tier and lower is massive. It is absolutely, absolutely massive. Okay, then we got Glenn. Man, disappointment. Just pure disappointment. He was meant to be the GOAT. He was meant to get base 98 again. He was meant to carry us like 2K20. Do you remember? Do you all remember? 2K20, Glenn Rice, Dwayne Wade. Not even Dwayne Wade. He had Dwayne Wade base. I had diamond contract. I had Glenn Rice, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I think I had another center with a diamond contract. And all I did in Triple Threat Online was set screens and 3 hunt with Glenn Rice and win every single game. Because that's how good Glenn was. Glenn was God tier. He was God tier in NBA 2K20. I was such a big fan of him. Then we got Gordon Hayward. I mean, base 28's alright. He's 6'8", but his wingspan is smaller than his height. I mean, he's a catch and shoot player. Can't really do much else. If you want to argue him better than Dougie McBuckets, I'm fine with that. I am completely fine with that. I think... No, I'm going to move Doug down. I'm going to move Doug down purely because I've never used him. I've used Gordon Hayward and he was only meh. purely because I've never used them and I've used all the others. I'm going to move Dougie down. Harrison Barnes. I mean, it all depends on how you feel the Harrison Barnes release base. Like, he's decent height. If you played 2, he'd be a bit better. But I mean, Harrison Barnes release is only mediocre. James Ennis. I like set shot 4, so I'm not going to put him into worthless. But yeah, he's not good. He's not good. I like set shot 4 as in I don't despise the release. I can green with it. But I mean, if you're asking me would I rather set shot 4 or even freaking base 17, which is Kevin Knox, I'll take base 17. I'll take most of the jump shots over set shot 4, but I do think set shot 4 is one of the best set shots. Then we got Worthy. I mean, Worthy's A. Worthy's A tier at this stage in the game. His defense is good. I don't like that release, but I think he's a lot close. I think it's tough to move him down to B. It really is. I don't think I can do that. Then we got Tatum S. No brainer. Tatum's release is good. I don't love 107. I also don't hate 107. I think it's a good release. I don't think it's a great release. Easy enough to green with. And again, it's an invincible card with a decent release and 4,000. Like, he's a ridiculous card to get, but I mean, he's not terrible. Jeremy Grant. I'm going A tier for Jeremy Grant. Why? He's got base 62. One of my favorite releases in the game. The Bam Adebayo / Michael Porter Jr. release. / Lionel Simmons release. One of my favorite jump shots in the game. One of the easiest releases for me to green. And honestly, like, his movement is good. His player build is good. Jeremy Grant is a really solid card. Jimmy Buckets. A tier for Jimmy. He's probably in the lower end of A, but I mean, he's like a slightly worse Andrew Wiggins. Screw it. B. He's high B. I'm going high B for him. He's not as good as Cam Reddish. He's not as good. He's a cone. And if you're looking at the cones in this tier, especially ones you run to 2, these guys are both better. So, yeah, I'm putting him in C. Joe Harris, I mean, he catches and he shoots. What more can you ask for? I don't prefer him shooting-wise to even a Hayward. And he's a little bit small, so he's going C tier. Joe Ingles. It's either high D or low C. I have him. Do not like his release. I'm going C tier with Ingles. 6'8", he's C tier. Julius Erving, B, but he's good. Like, the gap between B and A isn't that much. Like, it's a weird one with small forwards. There are a couple of exceptional ones, but a lot of these ones are just solid cards. Like, Julius Erving is just a solid player. Then we have got Justice Winslow. I'm putting Justice Winslow in C tier. Like, you guys might think that maybe it's gas in it, but I think C tier is probably the best spot for him. I don't think he's awful, even at this stage in the game. I really like base 20. I think he moves and he's got a great secondary position, or at least he had for the time. Okay. Then I just realized Pierce getting the worthless, Paul George getting the D tier. Pierce is so garbage. He couldn't shoot from the corners on current gen, but his release was actually pretty chicken. On next gen, Pierce may be in the top 5 worst releases in the game. It's so bad. It's so bad. Okay, Kawhi S. Has anyone questioned that? Kawhi S, KD SS. I think anyone's going to question either of them. Apparently, it's tough to green with KD on current gen. Funnily enough, when I used KD on current gen, I was greening everything with him. But that is probably because I'm not used to shooting on current gen. And, like, it's a weird one. I green when I go back to current gen. And this is the funniest thing. Like, I played... Most of you guys won't know who this guy is. A guy named Larry Bread, one of the best players in Europe. I played him in a tournament a while ago. And I think with, like... I had a shot to go ahead in the game with like 6 seconds to go, or with like 16 seconds to go. So it was like a neck and neck game. But I was greening the whole game with a bunch of just ridiculous players like freaking Alex English and stuff. And he literally messaged me and he's like, how can you green with the hardest players in the game to green with and you don't know how to speed burst? Like, that is literally beginner's luck, I think, is me using KD on current gen. I am chicken with this guy. Chicken with KD and Exum Braun are like the only guys I can green with on current gen. And Alex English for some reason. But and I agree with Bol as well. I agree with Bol and current gen. But KD, I think he belongs in S tier. That release is brilliant. It's way better than KD on Quick on next gen though as well. Kevin Knox. I mean, he's pretty decent. Like 6'9", but his shooting is a little bit of a problem, and he doesn't come with range. I get it. He's okay. He's a few hot zones lacking. He's better on next gen than current gen. He's a lot better on next gen than current gen, but I'm gonna put him C tier. Chris Middleton. I am putting Middleton in A tier because, in my opinion, he is in the top like 7 or 8 easiest releases to green in this entire game. I think his release is one of the easiest ones to green in the entire game, so I'm putting him in A tier. Like, I always gas Chris Middleton, and that's because if there's one player that I'm like confident, like there are very few players that I would be super confident hitting wide opens with them every single time. I'm trying to think of who I'd be most confident shooting wide opens with. Middleton has to be up there. Like, Middleton's release feels very much similar timing to a Trey Burke release, and you guys know how much I love Trey Burke base, so I'm obviously going to be a huge fan of Chris Middleton's base as well. He has the same upper as DeMar DeRozan and T-Mac, Kobe Bryant upper. I'm just a huge fan of Chris Middleton in 2K. I'm not quite as big a fan of Chris Middleton in real life as a person who may be reacting to this video. I mean, Chris Middleton is one of the most inconsistent players in the NBA, but he's obviously very good. Larry Keenan, I mean, he can't shoot really. No, if Gerald Wallace is B tier, Larry Keenan is C tier. Larry Keenan is just worse Gerald Wallace. So if Larry Keenan is, or if Gerald Wallace is B tier, he's C tier. LeBron, I'm going to go A. I'm going to go SS for LeBron. Obviously, the two LeBrons, in fact, in my opinion, the USA LeBron is better than the Invincible LeBron. I think the Team USA LeBron is better because he can play at the 2, and their stats are basically identical. And these are both X and bronze. This LeBron here, not a great release. Still not bad. He's one of the better players in A tier, but he's not bad at all. He's got Braun release, which means he can't shoot in the corners on current gen. Whereas the X and Braun, well, I mean, he's X and Braun. Let's just say it like it is. There's Gallo, Shaq, and there's X and Braun. Two of like the most shockingly good cards in the game. Michael Porter Jr. Okay, I'm going to put in all the guys that are not going to be in the debate for S tier. So Patrick Williams, he's not terrible. I'm going to move Wiggins down one. Because he is a little bit flawed, especially on next gen. Like, is he better on current gen than someone like an Anthony Edwards? Probably. Is he a lot worse on next gen? Yes. I think he's close. Wiggins and his Grant Hill are probably very close to each other. Sean Marion. C. I can green with him, but he's not spectacular, but I can green with him, so I'm going to put him in C tier. His stats are brilliant. Peja Stojakovic. He's got Chris Middleton base with a worse upper. And I can't green nearly as easily with Peja Stojakovic as I can with Chris Middleton. Like, I green more with Sapphire Chris Middleton than I do with this Dark Matter Peja. And we got Richard Jefferson. Jefferson's a fringe. He's a fringe A/B player. I'm going to put him high B. But because the catapult is a little bit off-putting. But he is really good. He has a lot of good things about him. And then Scotty. I'm going to say Scotty's A and TJ Warren. I hate TJ Warren. Like, this card is one that everyone says, oh, he's great. He's next gen made. He's got blinders. He's got this great release. I hate him. I don't know why. I hate him. I replaced him with Robert Reed when I was playing a tournament, and he was so much better. I hate TJ Warren with a passion. And Scottie Pippen, I just don't like base 30. Simply put, a good defender. Don't get me wrong, a really solid defender. But, like, for me, would I rather use Cam Reddish than Scotty? Yes. Would I rather use like Wiggins than Scotty? Maybe. I'm gonna put Scotty. He's one of the higher ones in anybody's A. So these three right here are my debates. I think I'm gonna go Terry in S tier. He's basically like, imagine if Dr. J was an inch taller and had a much longer wingspan and just better stats and badges. I'm gonna put Terry Dishinger in S tier, and he's Terry freaking Dishinger, lads. It's Terry Dishinger. Like, we know how good the dentist is. And then with these guys here, I think, as if we're talking next gen, Michael Porter Jr. is A tier, or is S tier. He's also the gatekeeper and 700k, and that has to be held against him a little bit. Actually, screw it, it's not. If I was holding that against him, I would have Invincible LeBron and KD down a tier, because the other ones are basically the same card but cheaper. Oh, his MPJ. Screw it. AA. They're the two best cards in A. But yeah, Paul George and Cam Reddish, I'm going to put them in the same tier. I'm going to put these guys in the same tier. So yeah, this is my small forward tier list, lads. So we have got basically 5 players in S tier. Terry Dishinger versus Paul George. That's actually... Do I move Terry down and Paul George up? Is it just for nostalgia reasons? Like, Terry Dishinger is like in and around my squad right now. I legitimately thought, I'm not even lying, I legitimately thought when the first Terry Dishinger came out that he was going to be in my squad for the long run. And I had him out of my squad so quickly. I had him out of my squad so quickly. But, yeah, let's just put Terry Dishinger... Screw it, let's stick as we are. So we've got Tatum. Do we move Tatum down and Paul George up? I think I prefer Paul George to Tatum, but it's Tatum. Oh, this is a tough one. Screw it, I'm gonna leave it. This is my tier list. This is the small forward tier list, lads. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.